Okay, our next interview is with Robert Baird, who is the owner of the Book Bins.
Right.
There was one book bin, and then there was another book bin, and then there was another book bin, I guess.
Well, we have two at this point.
Just the one in Salem and Corvallis?
Yeah.
All right, talk a little bit about how you first started in this world, where you were born, where you were brought up, siblings, what your parents did, what schools you went to. Take us up to the time you graduated college, if you graduated college.
Sure. I was born in Belle Fourche, South Dakota, and lived in South Dakota for 5 years, at which point my family moved to American Samoa, where my dad was the Attorney General. And we lived there for 4 years. And I went to a 3-room school for the colonial dependents at that point.
Wow.
And in 1960, we moved to Hawaii because the idea of moving back to the mainland and its chill at that point was impossible. So I grew up in Hawaii, in Kailua, and went to Kailua Elementary, Kailua Intermediate, and Kailua High School. And after that, was told I should go to the mainland for college, and went to Gustavus Adolphus in Minneapolis for 1 term because winter hit.
Oh,
and
God,
so did the draft. And I was 17 when I went to college, and I went back to Hawaii to fight my draft board, became a conscientious objector through a very convoluted set of issues. And then went to University of Hawaii and graduated from the College of Tropical Agriculture. It's been a useful degree, though, in terms of the book business. And graduated in 77. Took about 8 years to get it. And then shortly thereafter moved to the Northwest, and been living in Washington and Oregon ever since, mostly in Oregon.
The weather doesn't bother you up there?
Well, it's a little gray in the wintertime. I don't recommend it to Californians or Arizonans because they won't last, but Hawaii has a lot of clouds too, so it worked.
Yeah, but it also has a lot of sun.
Yeah.
Something I'm not used to. Talk a little bit about what got you interested in the book business. When did you start, and why did you start?
Well, my wife and I were all set to buy a farm, and so we had accumulated the capital to buy a farm, and we're shopping around pretty seriously when one day at a garage sale, which I did a lot of frequenting of, a book dealer approached me, and he said he'd recognized that I was doing a lot of book buying and trading, and asked if I ever thought about getting into the business. And my reply was no. But he said, well, think about it. And he said, you need 4 things to get into the business. You need a place to do it, you need product, you need somebody to do it, and you need money.
Yeah. The last being the most important.
And I had 3 out of the 4, and he had the books. So what he was proposing was that we open a second store. And we thought about it and realized that both farming and bookselling were something that we would love. We were really looking for a way to have a family business. And boy, that was a while ago. But the difference was that the book business was less bothered by weather, and that of the 2, we decided bookselling was a better bet.
Well, yeah.
And I still think that's true.
When did you make this monumental decision?
83.
In 1983.
Yeah.
Up until then, you'd been doing what?
Knocking around in ag and forestry for 10 years.
Just hacking around.
Yeah.
And which one did you open first, the Corvallis or the Salem?
Well, there was actually the existing store that we bought into was in Albany.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then we opened up the Corvallis store, and I built all the bookshelves, opened the doors, and our first customer still shops with us.
Wow.
And it's a general, really a general store. And then in 84, I think, it might have been 85, but I think it was 84, I went to the seminar, which was at DU at that point.
Yeah.
And that got me pretty excited. And so the next time there was one of these California book fairs, I came down. I don't think I exhibited the first time. And I couldn't have.
You probably weren't a member.
Yeah.
So you sort of like were a voyeur in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I was trying like crazy to learn the business. And but I figure I saved a minimum of 5 years by buying into an existing business.
Yeah.
And didn't make too many of the dumb mistakes that you can make at the beginning.
Well, you also, from my perspective, you also have a pretty good staff.
Yeah.
In the various shops. I've been in all of them, and they're all helpful, and they're all there to help you. And there's none of this elitist stuff. You can't look there. You can't look there.
Yeah.
They're nice people. And I think that's what bringing more people back.
Yeah.
Do you still have the Albany store open?
No, we
you
closed it.
That, even after you moved.
Well, the problem was that downtown Albany died.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And there just wasn't enough business to maintain it.
And there was another bookseller in Albany who apparently sold his business to someone.
Yeah.
Was running it into the ground, slowly but
well,
surely.
The truth is, he and I were partners for a while.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, the guy who had me come into the business approached both of us at the same time, not telling either of us about the other.
Aha.
So we went for about 8 months not even knowing that there were 3 partners instead of 2. And ultimately that relationship didn't work for the 2 of us, and so he ended up starting his own business, and we went our ways.
Talk about some of the booksellers who were influential or who mentored you in your first early years in the trade.
Barry Cassidy was pretty instrumental. I remember he was the person who sponsored me to get into ABAA. Boy, that's a long time ago. Just trying to think. One of the things that I did real early on is I took the advice that you gave at the seminar, and every quarter I tried to go on a book buying trip back east. And so I probably crossed a lot of paths that you trod, and ended up spending about 2 weeks 4 times a year. Although the 4th one, the February one, was very difficult.
Weather-wise.
Yeah, I kept looking for how can I get a southern trip out of this, and California was the only one that really ended up panning out.
Yeah.
But I tried Texas, I tried Florida, and I tried from D.C. south to Florida, and it was rough. But the others worked really well, and I figured I had to spend $1,000 a day to make it work.
Yeah.
And usually was able to accomplish that. And so when you say dealers who mentored me, I think of a huge pool.
Yeah, probably.
Because every store I went into, I learned something else out of.
That's one of the things that I like to stress to young booksellers. Go to book fairs. They're an education.
Yeah.
Go into people's shops. More education.
Right.
You can't have enough education.
Yeah. And book fairs were on those runs as well.
Yeah, of course. One of the questions I like to ask is, what is your computer expertise? Were you a computer person?
I hate them.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do, but you use them.
No, I have staff that use them.
Okay. You don't?
No, I don't even do email.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a Neanderthal,
Oh, I'm worse than that. Total Luddite.
Nobody's perfect, Bob. But
I'm finally doing faxes and cell phones, and
wow.
Yeah.
Boy, technology really plays a big part in your life, I can see. But as long as people know how to use the computer, that's good enough for you.
Yeah.
Do you have much of a presence
in the business?
On the computer?
Yes.
How many thousand volumes do you guys have?
50,000.
Wow.
Something like that.
And that's in all subjects.
Oh yeah.
But one of your specialities is Hawaii.
Right. Honestly, not in a bragging way, but I think I'm probably the dealer in that right now.
I would think so. It's so hard to find that kind of material.
Yeah.
And there's really nobody who's really specializing in it.
Yeah.
But because I think you would have to specialize in something else as well in order to make it work. You couldn't just deal in Hawaii books.
Right. No, it works because of the fact that we've got the whole business.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's really different than most of the guys that are here. You know, there's about between 30 and 40 of us working in our business at any point in time, and it's our approach is just really different than the guy who's operating out of his home. But it means that I'm the only one here that has a van with the company name on the side of it.
I know, I saw it in the parking lot.
Yeah. But it also means that I'm not going to live or die by what happens at this show.
True, but you're flying the flag here, though.
Well, yeah, and it's a miracle. Not coming in 8 years means that we're the new guy on the block again.
Pretty much.
And our booth is just jammed.
Yeah, people want to see what you have because then they don't know who you are.
Right.
Which is good and bad at the
same
time.
No, it is. It is.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that have changed in the book business since the Internet revolution. What are some of the things that you notice are occurring at this point that didn't occur before computers came into vogue?
Well, prices are dropping really seriously. Scarcity is being really seriously defined. There used to be regional books that I could go back east and buy. I can't do that anymore. And a book that there's 15 of scattered around the country, and we're the only one in the Northwest that had value because of that. And today that's gone.
Doesn't make a difference anymore.
No, there's no difference. Something I really regret is the lack of ability of most of the people online to describe books. So you don't know for sure what you're getting. And the result is we're really cautious about buying that way.
Well, you have to be, because so many people crib descriptions from a beautiful copy and put it on a rebound copy and expect to get the same price.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
And to a certain extent, hopefully that the Colorado seminar will be able to help people distinguish themselves from these people who just clip and paste.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you were starting in the trade today, right now, what do you think would be some of the most important things you would need in order to be successful?
Well, you definitely need the computer knowledge, and cheap rent, a lot of money, an ability to recognize that you're in business, that it's not a hobby,
right?
And that all of the things about being in business that are true with any business are true in the book business. But it's so easy to get sucked into the books and forget about the business.
A lot of people do it.
Some kind of a relationship with capital. I would have said banks 2 years ago, but I'm not going to say that today.
No.
Being bankable is really important, and it doesn't matter whether it's with 10 credit cards or grandma and grandpa or how you do it, but you better have a really good source of capital. And then I think I would encourage people to apprentice.
Yeah, it seems to be a general consensus that making mistakes on somebody else's dollar, winning the trade, working for someone else, then going on your own.
Well, I just had a collection come my way that was maybe just barely within my league. That you have to be able to talk to the people with those kinds of collections in a way that convinces them that they want to place them with you.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done the apprenticing, you're way down the ladder in terms of where you're going to be able to convince people of it.
Yeah, it's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who, from your point of view, who are some of the really great booksellers in America today, and who are some of the up-and-coming, the so-called rising stars of the trade?
Well, I'm going to put out that I think Michael Powell is one of the real stars of the book business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's very recognized in the antiquarian trade, or actually in a number of pieces of it. But he has made really significant changes in the way the whole book business works.
Right.
And he's retiring.
He's retiring too?
Yeah, his daughter's taking over.
Oh, that's right. I think I had her at the seminar.
Let's see, who else? There's a lot. Boy.
Well, think about it for a moment, and think about some of the young people in the trade who you'd like to see.
Oh, so rising stars. Well, my own son.
Of course he's a rising star.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. One of the things that we were noticing here at the show was how ethnically undiverse the representation was. Everybody's white. How sexually undiverse it is. Everybody's male. And that's a vast overstatement.
Right.
And how ageist it is, in as much as the thing somebody told me was, I asked somebody what they were collecting, and the response was Social Security.
Me too. Thank God for Social Security. Although this generation is probably not going to know it the way we know it.
Yeah, it could be. But it's something I worry about a little bit. One of the things we brought this show was a huge science fiction collection, and we're finding that it's really attracting the young crowd. And
dust jackets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of visual among young collectors. I find that a lot of them are collecting maps, they're collecting prints, they're collecting things that have a visual connotation.
Right. Yeah.
You want to hang it up on the wall or something.
Yeah.
You said you're transferring power.
Yeah.
To your son.
Right.
When is this going to happen?
Well, about 6 years from now. We're being slow about it, but steady.
Well, the whole world could be blown up by then.
Well, it could be, but there's in our town there's a business. What's that called? Anyhow, it's at the university they have how to do succession planning. And one of the things that they recommend is to do it slowly and steadily, and that's the approach that we're taking.
Now let's stop for a minute and bring your son in. Obadiah, come on over. Okay, we just had to stop for a moment to do some miking. But Obadiah, you've been working since you were 12 years old. You said with your dad. What are your aspirations for the trade? What do you think that is going to happen when you take over the business somewhere down the line?
I would like to be able to continue, providing a service and selling books to the community and making money doing it, obviously. And hope, I look forward to being able to put my stamp on our stores and hopefully, find a way to continue to build on the success we've had.
Are you going to continue to keep the 2 stores open?
I would like to. There's no reason yet to start thinking about not, but,
Okay. So here we are. We have father and son. This is February 12th, 2011. And 6 years from now, we're going to get Obadiah back, and let's see what he thinks about 6 years from now, about the book business, about what his father's done to him.
Oh, I love it. I'm crazy about it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't.
If you weren't,
yeah.
I agree with you.
You might ask my wife, who's also gotten into the business with us. She might think otherwise by then, but you never know.
And your sister.
And my sister, yeah.
Is your sister involved in the business too?
Yeah.
So it's like a Zubal family here. You get all the siblings are involved.
There's even 2 grandchildren hanging around.
How old are the grandkids?
5 and 7.
So they're bibliomites.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we like to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, thanks for the interview. It was great.
Sure.
Enjoyed it. And like I said, 6 years from now, I'm going to have you back, and we'll be able to see what the difference is between now and then.
Sure thing.
Okay.